We're having a reading class, and we're going to be reading an article from Success Magazine. And, my Verbalink chat is not loading, so it's not working, so I'm going to have to post things to the group in the group chat. So there's the link there. Oh, Hamid, you beat me to it. There's the link to the article on the website, and here's the link to the document that we're going to be reading from, actually. So let me just say hi to people, and we'll wait to see if some people join us, and then we will get started. So hi, Laura. How are you?
Hello. Fine, thanks. And you?
Good. I'm doing well, thank you. Did you have a good day?
Yes, it was sunny and warm, so
Nice.
it was wonderful.
Awesome. Okay,
Yeah.
good. And Sergey, you're joining us, and I imagine you still can't talk, so we're going to do...
Hello, Lisa. Yes, I can.
Oh, wait, you can.
Yes.
Awesome.
You can't imagine how it's difficult to keep silence and can't talk, but I wanted to talk. Now I can do it. It's wonderful. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, good. All right, well, I'm glad you're here, and we can hear from you. Yeah. Okay, and Hamid, welcome back also.
Thank you.
So, well, I'll talk a little bit just to see people will be joining us probably. So here we go. We're going to read this article. It's kind of like, business-related, career-related, personal development, that kind of thing, from Success.com, Success Magazine. And as you can see here at the top on their navigation bar, they have articles about lots of different topics related to that, like business, personal development, well-being, startups, everything kind of related to this topic. And so I usually do one of these at least once a week related to personal development and success and business, that type of thing. And so this one was called What the Most Successful People Do on the Weekend. All right, so we're going to read this together, and maybe we'll have some time to discuss. It just depends on how long it takes us to get through the article. And as usual, I am going to read out loud first, so that way it's part of listening practice, so you can see if you can understand me just by listening to me, or you can listen and read along at the same time so that you see the words as I am pronouncing them. Okay, let me just say hi to some other people who've joined us. Hi, Fernando. Welcome.
Hi, teacher. Thank you.
Yeah, good. And Russ, how are you doing?
Hello, thank you. I'm very well. And you?
Good. Good. Russ, where are you from?
I'm from Kazakhstan.
Kazakhstan. Okay, cool. All right, and let's see. Is this Andrew? I don't know. With the Russian name. Sergey, help me out here.
Dmitry.
What is
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, Dima. Okay, is it Dima?
It's me. Yeah.
You changed your picture.
I changed my picture.
Okay, good. All right, now I have a picture and a name to go together. Good. Hi, Dima. And hi, Amparo. Welcome, guys. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. I'll switch over to the Google Doc, where here it is. And my Verbalink chat is not loading. It's not working. So I'm going to use just the group chat to type things. So if you can use the group chat as well, that'll work. If I want to type in the Verbalink chat, I have to go to another window where it is working. So. Okay, so let's get started. What the most successful people do on the weekend, that's the main title, and then we have like the subtitle here, a guide to making the most of your days off. So your days off are the days that you don't have to work. Usually that's the weekend, Saturday, Sunday here in the United States, but it's not always true for everybody. If you have a different work schedule, you might have Mondays off or Tuesdays off, something like that. Okay, time management expert Laura Vanderkam's follow-up book to What the Most Successful People Do Before Breakfast, aptly titled What the Most Successful People Do on the Weekend, is crammed with advice from successful entrepreneurs and scientific studies to help you never waste another weekend again. As Vanderkam points out, all too often our precious weekends are eaten up by unproductive work or leisure that fails to energize us, leaving us dragging Monday morning and asking where the weekend went. The key, making weekend plans in advance. Okay, make your plans in advance. Okay, Amparo, why don't we start with you?
Okay. Time management expert Laura Vanderkam's follow-up book to What the Most Successful People Do Before Breakfast, aptly titled What the Most Successful People Do on the Weekend, is crammed with advice from successful entrepreneurs and scientific studies that to help you never waste another weekend again. As Vanderkam points out, all too often our precious weekends are eaten up by unproductive work or leisure that fails to energize us, leaving us dragging Monday morning and asking where the weekend went. The key, making weekend plans in advance.
Okay, good. I just wanted to point out here that these are titles, and in the original article here, they're links. So these are her books. So 2 books here. So the first one that she wrote was What Do Most Successful People Do Before Breakfast. So this is her, in the article they're going to talk about her follow-up book. So this follow-up is being used here as an adjective to describe what kind of book it is. So it's her follow-up, and it's aptly titled. So aptly means just appropriate. It makes sense that she would title her next book, What Do People Do on the Weekend? So before breakfast and on the weekend. And she is a time management expert. So a person who helps people manage their time wisely or well, so that you really use that's something that's very popular nowadays because people are very busy doing lots and lots of things, and if you don't manage your time well, then maybe you're not going to get all the things done that you need to or that you want to. You might not be as productive as you can. That's kind of the language in business that we use today. Time management, productivity, getting things done, that kind of thing. So they're saying that the book is crammed with advice. Cram just means full of. If you cram something in, like you have a suitcase and you cram, that's the verb, to cram stuff into your suitcase. It's like you're trying to put as much as you can and push down your suitcase, so you're filling it up. So the book is full of, advice from. So the advice is from successful entrepreneurs and also from the scientific studies, so that you will never waste another weekend. So here, to waste a weekend means to do something that's not helpful, not energizing, not productive. You just wasted your time. Okay, she, the author, points out. To point out something means to make sure that somebody notices it. So you point something out so that somebody will pay attention to it. So she talks about this idea that oftentimes are precious, meaning are very precious to us. They're very important because we only have 2 days during our weekends. They are eaten up by. So they get eaten up by, or they are wasted. And when you get eaten up, it means it's we spend our time doing certain things, and so the hours, like, they get eaten up. They get used in unproductive work, so not productive, or leisure time, something that is not work, leisure, but that fails to energize us. So you do something, but it doesn't really make you feel better or more energized. And so if you do that during the weekend, you are left feeling, or you're left dragging on Monday. So if you're dragging, it means like you're not feeling 100% energy. You're low energy. You feel tired. You're not ready to go back to work. So you are dragging. That's the expression, or that's the idea of, you get a sense of a person walking into work still kind of yawning, still kind of tired, not energized from the weekend. You didn't come back Monday morning ready to go. You're just like, ugh, well, I don't want to be here. So the key is like the most important thing for how to fix this problem is to make weekend plans in advance, so before time before the weekend. These days disappear into chores, errands, inefficient email checking, unconsciously chosen television marathons, or a death march of children's activities that suck the energy out of chauffeuring adults, Vanderkamp says. Her book includes lists of the weekend activities that make people happiest, why it's important to unplug for at least a little while, and why Sunday nights may be the most important time of your entire weekend. Below is an excerpt from her book on 6 ways to make your weekend successful. Okay. Oh, Alexi. Hi, Alexi. Welcome. Alexi, why don't we go to you? You can go ahead and read that.
Okay. These days disappear into chores, errands, inefficient email checking, unconsciously chosen television marathons, or a death march of children's activities that suck the energy out of chauffeuring adults. Vanderkamp says. Her book includes lists of weekend activities that make people happiest, why it's important to unplug for at least a little while, and why Sunday nights may be the most important time of your entire weekend. Below is an excerpt from her book on 6 ways to make your weekend successful.
Good. Okay, this is a quote. So Vanderkamp, the author, says these days disappear. So there's like they just the idea of them being eaten up. You don't even know where they went. It's just the time. We say the time flies, or the time goes very quickly, and it's full of these kinds of things. Chores. Chores are the work that you have to do around your house, like cleaning, laundry, fixing things. You know, so chores around the house. Errands. This is like going to the store to buy stuff that you need, going to a store to get something, you know, that's an errand. Or inefficient email checking. So maybe you spend all day kind of on and off your computer checking your email. That's not very efficient. It wastes a lot of time and your day just disappears that way. Unconsciously chosen. So you're watching TV for a long time. That's a marathon. We talked about binge watching the other day. So maybe you spend 3 hours just sitting there watching TV, but you don't really choose with consciousness. You're just like kind of a blob, like, oh, I'm just sitting here watching TV. You don't even really know what you're watching or why you're watching it. So that's the idea of unconsciously chosen. You were not aware of what you were doing. Or maybe if you're a parent, there's the death march. The death march means just you're doing a lot of running around your kids. So it means your children have a lot of activities, and you have to chauffeur, which means to drive. You're the chauffeur. You drive them all around to soccer, to dance, to their, to something, and that sucks the energy out of you. So you're not doing something that energizes you. You're just taking your kids everywhere they need to go on the weekend, like sports and things like that. So those are some possibilities for how these days disappear and how you just don't even know what happened to your weekend. So her book includes lists, lots of things for things you can do, your activities, and these are supposed to make people happiest, the happiest. One thing to do is to unplug. That means to get off your computer, get off the TV, anything that is electronic, you unplug. You take the energy away. That's the idea. So at least for a little while. And then she's saying that Sunday nights may be the most important time of your the whole weekend. Sunday nights are really important. So we're going to read from her book. This is called an excerpt, when you take a portion of the book, maybe a couple pages or something, and then we read just that part. So here is the excerpt. 6 secrets of successful weekends. That's kind of like a tongue twister. 6 secrets of successful weekends. Here are a few more tips to remember as you're making your plans. All right, 1, dig deep. Maybe there are activities you haven't done since childhood that could become a regular part of your weekends. One reader tells me that she and her husband decided to sign up for piano lessons on Saturday mornings. Now they and their teenage son all have lessons back to back. It's easier to nudge a kid to practice when mom and dad are doing it too. Sometimes we get so concerned about scheduling our kids' lives that we forget to schedule our own. Okay, Fernando.
6 secrets of successful weekends.
Mm-hmm.
Here are a few more types to remember as you're making your plans. 1. Dig deep. Maybe there are activities you haven't done since childhood that could become a regular part of your weekends. One reader tells me that she and her husband decided to sign up for piano lesson on Saturday mornings. Now they and their teenage son all have lessons back to back. It's easier to nudge a kid to practice when mom and dad are doing it too. Sometimes we get too concerned about scheduling our kids' lives that we forget to schedule our own.
Okay, good. All right, so the pronunciation here for this one is tips. Here are a few more tips to remember. Tips, these are, a tip is something that, like a piece of advice, a small or a short little piece of advice that you can do to maybe make your life better. That's the idea of a tip. So I'm giving you a tip. It means I'm going to tell you something that might help you. Okay, so dig deep. You know, when you dig deep, usually we think about digging like a hole, you know, like with a shovel you dig. And this idea, though, is to dig deep into yourself and maybe come up with something that you haven't done in a long time. So maybe there are some activities, some things that you haven't done since childhood when you were young, and maybe they could become a regular part of your weekend, something you do every weekend. That's regular, something that's consistent. So one of her readers, she told the author that she and her husband decided to sign up for. So to sign up for means to register. So they chose to start taking piano lessons. So they signed up for piano lessons. Now they're going to do the same thing as their teenage son. They all have lessons back to back. That means one after the other. So maybe like 10, 10:30, and 11. So back to back lessons. It's easier to nudge. If you try to nudge somebody to do something, it means you're trying to push them a little bit. So it's easier to nudge or to tell your child to practice if you're doing the same thing. So sometimes we get so concerned about, so to concerned about means we get thinking about, worried about our kids and their schedules and what they have to do and what's important for them to learn and experience, that we forget about our own schedules, our own lives. So it's important to think about yourself and do something on the weekend that is important to you. And maybe you can dig deep, look back. Maybe you used to ride horses or play basketball or something like that. You can do it again. Number 2, use your mornings. Weekend mornings tend to be wasted time, but they're great for personal pursuits. If you're training for a marathon, it's less disruptive for your family if you get up early to do your 4-hour run than if you try to do it in the middle of the day. To get up early, you'll probably have to avoid staying up late the night before, but this is a good idea in general. Okay, Hamid.
Use your mornings. Weekend mornings tend to be wasted time, but they are great for personal pursuits. If you are training for a marathon, it is less disruptive for your family if you get up early to do your 4-hour run than if you try to do it in the middle of the day. To get up early, you'll probably have to avoid staying up late the night before. But this is a good idea in general.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so a lot of times they tend to be wasted. So when you use the expression tend to be, it means often. So usually or often, many times, the weekends are wasted. The morning the weekend mornings are wasted time because you're just kind of laying around in bed, or you don't get up and do anything. But she's suggesting that these are good times for personal pursuits. So personal meaning, just you, and your pursuit is the thing that you're trying to do, like maybe getting up and taking some verbling classes before your kids get out of bed, that kind of thing, if your pursuit is learning English. The example here is if you're training for a marathon, so training, you're trying to get in shape, you're trying to run, it's less disruptive for your family. So disruptive means to disrupt, so to kind of make things chaotic a little bit or something. So if you get up early and you do your run, you go running, then it's better for your family. It's less disruptive. Because if you try to do it in the middle of the day, then maybe your family misses you, you can't do anything with them, they're up and awake and ready to go. But the idea is doing something for yourself before your family needs you or wants to do stuff with you. So getting up early is a good idea. But you have to avoid staying up late the night before. So to avoid, to not do that. If you avoid something, it means you don't do it. You stay away from doing that. So you have to go to bed early. But in her opinion, that's a good idea in general. So usually it's better to go to bed early and get up early. That's her opinion. 3, create traditions. Happy families often have some special weekend activity that everyone loves, but no one has to plan each time. Maybe it's pancakes on Saturday mornings or a family walk to worship services. But whatever it is, make a ritual of it. These habits are what become memories, and comforting rituals boost happiness. Okay, Laura.
Happy families often have special weekend activities that everyone loves, but no one has to plan each time. Maybe it's pancakes on Saturday morning or a familiar walk to worship services. But whatever it is, make a ritual of it. These habits are what become memories, and comforting ritual boosts happiness.
Good. So create some kind of tradition, some kind of a ritual. A ritual is something you do the same way every time. So it doesn't have to be every day, but like maybe making pancakes or some kind of special breakfast on Saturday mornings, doing a family walk to worship services. This means to church. To worship is when you go to a church and you worship, meaning you pray and you listen to your priest or pastor, whoever. And the service is the time period there. So you have the church services. So it's usually like 1 hour long or something like that. So these habits, these things that you do over and over again, are what become memories. So when you do them as a family, later in life, you remember them and they're memories. Comforting rituals, so rituals that you do, something you do the same way every weekend, that would be a ritual. Boost happiness. So to boost something means to increase. So these things make you happier. They boost your happiness. Number 4, schedule downtime. Jess Leahy, a New Hampshire-based teacher and writer, has official weekend nap time in her house that takes place each afternoon between 1 and 3. Her kids, who are preteens, not toddlers, who actually need to nap, know it's coming and they save up screen time for it. They play games together, watch a movie, or read. Everyone turns their phones off, and Leahy and her husband close the door to the upstairs, read for a bit, and then dive in for what always proves to be amazing sleep. Okay, Russ.
Scheduled downtime. Jess Leahy, a New Hampshire-based teacher and writer, has official weekend nap time in her house that takes place each afternoon between 1 and 3. Her kids, who are preteens, not toddlers, who actually need to nap, know it's coming, and they save up screen time for it. They play games together, watch a movie, or read. Everyone turns their phones off, and Leahy and her husband close the door to the upstairs, read for a bit, then dive in for what always proves to be amazing sleep.
So downtime means time that you're not doing anything. So it doesn't necessarily mean a nap. It just means that you can rest. You're not responsible to do something. So you can take a break. So she schedules it. So this person has official meaning, like everybody knows in the family this is going to happen every weekend. So they have nap time, which just is the time to take a nap, to take a rest. And it takes place each afternoon between 1 and 3. Her kids are preteens, so that would be like 10, 11, 12. They're not toddlers. Toddlers would be more like 1, 2, 3. And usually as a toddler, you need a nap, you take a nap. But they know it's coming, so they know it's going to happen. And so they save up screen time for it. So to save up means maybe they are only allowed to have a couple of hours of screen time. That's what we call being on computers, on media, on iPods, anything that has a screen. So they save it up, and then so while the parents are napping, they're playing games, watching a movie, or they're reading, something like that. Everybody has to turn off their phone. So everyone turns off their phones. Everyone turns their phones off. You can say it either way. And they close the door, and then they go upstairs. They read for a bit, which means just a little amount of time. So they read for a little amount of time, 20 minutes maybe, and then they dive in. That means they go into deep sleep, and it's always amazing. That's what they say. That deep sleep that leaves you a little disoriented when you wake up, she says. Once I figured out where I am and what day it is, I leap out of bed, recharged, and head out to weed the garden or get down to the business of making dinner. All right, number 5, make time to explore. A run, walk, or bike ride can turn into an adventure, with plenty of opportunities for that spontaneity people seem to think planning quashes, if you choose the right neighborhood. Use weekends to stretch your routine a bit. Okay. All right. Next. Sergey? Sergey, can you read? Your microphone's muted. Okay, Wilmer. Wilmer?
Yep.
There you go. Good. Thanks.
That deep sleep that leaves you a little disoriented when you wake up. She says, once I have figured out where I am and what days it is, I leap out of bed, recharge, and head out to weed the garden or get down to the business of making dinner. 5. Can you say 5 or 5th?
I would just say 5. Yeah.
Okay. Make time to explore. A run, walk, or bike ride can you turn into an adventure, with plenty of opportunities for that spontaneity. People seem to think planning quashes.
Quashes.
If you choose the right neighborhood, use weekend to stretch your routine a bit.
Okay, good. So deep sleep. That describes, when you're really out of it, we say, and you're just sleeping really deeply and nothing can wake you up. That's the idea. So she says it's the kind of deep sleep that leaves you a little disoriented. So you're so deep in sleep that when you wake up, you still are disoriented. Disoriented means you don't know where you are, what time it is, what's happening, what day it is, that kind of thing. So when you wake up from this nap, you kind of have to take a minute to figure out. You have to understand, where am I? Oh yeah, I'm in my house. Okay, what day is it? Oh, it's Saturday. And then once you figure that out, she says, I leap out of bed. So it means she jumps out of bed with a lot of energy. She feels recharged, which means when you recharge a battery, it has all the charge in it now. So she feels energized, you could say. And so she heads out to weed. So she goes out. To head out means to go out somewhere. And she's going outside to weed the garden. That just means to pick the weeds, the things you don't want growing in your garden. And get down to the business of making dinner. So to get down to means to start. So maybe she either goes outside and weeds in the garden, or she gets started on making dinner, the business of making dinner. Okay, and number 5 is to take some time to explore, or make some time. Make sure you have some time in your weekend. I think here spontaneity. So some people think that if you plan something, you can't be spontaneous. That quashes. Quashes means like to put down or to smash. You know, like if you plan something, how can you be spontaneous? But she says that's not true. You know, you have lots of opportunities to be spontaneous, especially if you choose the right neighborhood. So you have a nice neighborhood to go running in or walking in. It can be really nice. Use weekends to stretch your routine a bit. So if you have a routine already, a routine is something you do every day. Maybe you take a walk every day. You can take a longer walk or a longer run. You stretch it out a little bit more. Okay, plan something fun. So number 6, plan something fun for Sunday nights. This idea may be the most important tip in this book. Even if you love your job, it's easy to feel a bit of trepidation on Sundays about the stresses waiting for you on Monday morning. And if you don't like your job, Sunday trepidation can become a full-on case of the Sunday night blues. As time slides inexorably into the next day, you wonder what you're doing with your life. Sounds sad? Okay, Dima, number 6.
Plan 6. Plan something for Sunday nights. This idea may be the most important tip in this book. Even if you love your job, it's easy to feel a bit of trepidation on Sundays about the stresses waiting for you on Monday morning. And if you don't like your job, Sunday trepidation can become a full-on case of the Sunday night blues as time slides inexorably into the next day. You wonder what you're doing with your life.
Yes. Okay. So, Sunday nights. This idea may be the most important tip, so the most important idea that she can help you with. Even if you love your job, means you want to go back to work on Mondays, it's still easy to feel a bit of trepidation. Trepidation is like you're not sure, like if you feel trepidatious, you're not really sure if you want to do it or not, so you kind of feel like, yeah, I want to go back to work, but I also want to have more time off. So there's a little bit of trepidation there, because there might be some stressful things waiting for you at your job on Monday morning. But if you don't like your job, it's even worse. So this trepidation, which is a little bit like being unsure if you want to do something, it can turn into a full-on, like a full-blown, full-on case of Sunday night blues. So you might feel to feel blue means to feel sad. You feel kind of depressed. So as the time slides, so the time is sliding away inexorably, means you can't, even if you're praying, you can't make it stop. It's just going, the time is moving on. You can't make it stop. It's going to be the next day. So you wonder what you're doing with your life. It's kind of a depressing situation on Sunday evenings. You wonder if any of it is worthwhile. If you're asking such existential questions, it may be time to shake things up. But in the meantime, or even if you just feel weary when you think of your commute, you can combat the Sunday night blues by scheduling something fun for Sunday evening. This extends the weekend and keeps you focused on the fun to come rather than on Monday morning. Caitlin Andrews, a librarian, calls it a necessity to end Sunday night on a high note. Her extended family gets together for dinner almost every Sunday, alternating houses. Okay, Lexi.
Okay, you wonder if any of it is worthwhile. If you are asking such existential questions, if maybe time to shake things up. But in the meantime, or even if you just feel weary when you think of commute, you can combat the Sunday night blues by scheduling something fun for Sunday evening. This extends the weekend and keeps you focused on the fun to come rather than on Monday morning. Caitlin Andrews, a librarian, call it a necessity to end Sunday night on a high note. Her extended family gets together for dinner almost every Sunday, alternating houses.
Okay, so when you wonder, it's like you're asking yourself, is this worthwhile? So that's referring to if you have like the Sunday night blues, you don't really like your job. So if something is worthwhile means like, is it valuable? Do I need to be doing this? Why am I doing this? But she's saying if you're asking such existential questions, existential has to do with being, existing. So, you know, is this even worth my life, you know, being alive to do this job, you know? Maybe she says it's time to shake things up. To shake things up means to change, make a change in your life. But in the meantime, so it means like, you know, in the meantime is you might shake things up, you might make a change, but now you have to deal with your life. So even if you just feel weary, you're just kind of, weary means you're not excited about it. So when you think about commuting, you know, maybe you have to drive an hour to get to work on Monday morning, and you think about that, you feel tired already, or like, oh, I don't want to do that. You can combat, means to fight these Sunday night blues by scheduling. So here, paying attention to the prepositions, you fight it or you combat something by doing something else. So by scheduling something fun. So make sure you plan it and it's on your schedule so that you do something fun. This extends the weekend. It makes the weekend a little bit longer, and it keeps you focused on the fun to come. So you're looking forward to the Sunday night thing, so that you're happy like the whole weekend because you know this is going to happen on Sunday night, rather than thinking about what's going to happen on Monday morning. So you're more focused on the Sunday night fun thing. So this lady, a librarian, calls it a necessity. Necessity, something that is necessary, something you need to end. So she thinks it's important to end Sunday night on a high note. So that's the expression, to end something. It could be like to end the concert, the play, the project, or something on a high note. So a high note meaning something enjoyable, something fun, something you're going to remember, something you're going to like. So her extended family, so Amparo, that'd be like for you, all of your family members, not just your brothers and your sisters, mom and dad, but your uncles, your aunts, your cousins, things like that. You would get together for dinner. Alternating houses, so changing, not always going to the same person's house, but somebody else's house every weekend. The host house cooks the main meal, but the others bring something to add, an appetizer, a bottle of wine, a side dish, or dessert. It's a little stressful when I have to cook and clean for people coming over, she reports, but I don't spend too much time on it, and my husband helps. Plus, we always end up with leftovers for the rest of the week when we cook. It's just a couple of hours. Everyone comes over about 5:30, and we're home by 8 or 9. Okay, Amparo.
The host house cooks the main meal, but the others bring something to add, an appetizer, a bottle of wine, a side dish, or dessert. It's a little stressful when I have to cook and clean for people coming over, she reports, but I don't spend too much time on it, and my husband helps. Plus, we always end up with the leftovers for the rest of the week when we cook. It's just a couple of hours. Everyone comes over about 5:30, and we are home by 8 or 9.
Okay. Yes. Good. The host house cooks the main meal. So the main meal means like maybe like the meat or something like that. But everybody else is going to bring something to add. So it's like a potluck is what we call that, a potluck. Appetizers are the things you eat before the main dish. Of course, you know, wine. A side dish might be like a vegetable dish or grain, rice, you know, something like that, and desserts. She says it's a little stressful if she has to do a lot of the cooking and cleaning, but she doesn't spend too much time on it, so she doesn't spend too much time doing all of the cooking and the cleaning, and her husband helps. Plus, when you say plus, it means and more. You know, like and. We always end up with leftovers. Leftovers are the things that people don't eat. So if you don't eat all the food, you have leftovers that you can eat at another time. So yeah, sounds like a fun tradition. That's plenty of time to plan and decompress before bed, and she looks forward to this tradition all weekend. It takes my mind off any Sunday night blues that might be coming on. Elisa Rosen, a reality TV producer who's dreamed up series like Farm Kings and Curvy Girls, does vinyasa, hot yoga, at 6 p.m. on Sundays. It's a great way for me to sweat out the toxins of the week and center myself for Monday, she says. I reset myself. Okay, Fernando.
That's plenty of time to plan a decompress before bed, and she looks forward to this tradition all weekend. It takes my mind off any Sunday night blues that make be coming on. Elisa Rosen, a reality TV producer who's dreamed up series like Farm Kings and Curvy Girls, does vinyasa, hot yoga at 6 p.m. on Sundays. It's a great way for me to sweat off the toxin of the week and center myself for Monday. She says, I rest myself.
Mm-hmm. Okay, plenty of time means you have lots of time to plan and decompress before bed. Decompress means to rest, relax. So you go and you have dinner and stuff, but you still have time before you have to go to bed to kind of relax a little bit, and also to plan, you know, for the week and that kind of thing. So she looks forward to doing this tradition all weekend. So it's really fun for her. It takes my mind off. So if something takes your mind off of something, it means it allows you to forget about the thing. So if you can forget about the Sunday night blues, then you just focus on something else. So your mind is not focused on the bad thing, it's focused on the good thing. So take your mind off of something means to help you forget about it. So this other person, who's the TV producer, she dreamed up these series, so she created these series. She likes to do vinyasa, which is called hot yoga. She sweats out the toxins. So when your body sweats, the toxins are released out of your body, and it allows her to center herself, or she says, center myself for Monday. So to center yourself means to get focused, to have like be peaceful and centered so you're not scattered. And she says, I reset myself. So you can think of resetting your page or the computer. Same thing with yourself. You have this week, you had a busy week, and now on the weekend you can reset yourself, get relaxed again, re-energize yourself so you can go back to work on Monday. She admits that for her, the yoga is not particularly spiritual. I'm making a mental list, she says, but it gives her something to anticipate as she's sliding toward each Monday firefight. That may be the same thing that Ina Garten, the chef otherwise known as the Barefoot Contessa, was thinking when she created her 6 p.m. Sunday ritual of getting a massage. I like that one. Okay, Hamid.
She admits that for her, the yoga is not particularly spiritual. I'm making a mental list, she says, but it gives her something to anticipate as she's sliding toward each Monday firefight. That may be the same thing that Ina Garten, the chief otherwise known as the Barefoot Contessa, was thinking when she created her 6 p.m. Sunday ritual of getting a message.
Massage.
Getting a massage.
Yeah, massage. All right, so she admits. When you admit something, it means you say, this is what's true for me. Yes, I admit that I think this or I think that. So she admits, yoga is not really spiritual for her. For some people, it's a spiritual practice, but it's not particularly spiritual. Instead, she's making a mental list. So she's thinking about things in her mind as she's doing the yoga. But she says it gives her something to anticipate. To anticipate means to look forward something to plan on that you're going to be doing in the future. At the time when she is sliding toward the Monday firefight. So, Sunday night you are sliding toward Monday, and for her it's a firefight. So, it's busy, meaning she's got things to do, she's going to get back to work, and it's going to be tough work. That's kind of the idea there. This other person, she has a tradition of getting a massage, a ritual of getting a massage. So every Sunday at 6 p.m. she gets a massage, something to look forward to, something to get her ready for the next week. According to the June 29th, 2012 My Sunday Routine New York Times profile of Garden, this 27-year tradition stemmed from a 1985 realization that I was working really hard, and one day I told myself I'm not having enough fun. So I did two things. I got myself a red Mustang convertible and started having massages. I don't have the Mustang anymore, but I still have the same masseuse. Laura.
Okay. According to the June 29th, 2012, My Sunday Routine New York Times profile of Garden, this 27-year tradition stemmed from 1985 realization that I was working really hard. And one day I told myself, I'm not having enough fun, so I did two things. I got myself a red Mustang convertible and started having massage. I don't have the Mustang anymore, but I still have the same massage.
Masseuse. I have the same masseuse. Okay, so according to, which means the author read about this in the New York Times profile. A profile is when you talk about a person and you say a lot of things about them. That's their profile. So this 27-year tradition, okay, she's been doing it for a long time. It stemmed from. This means it came from, or it started, this is when it all got started. So it stemmed from her realization when she realized, she thought to herself, oh my gosh, I'm working really hard and I'm not having enough fun in my life. That was her realization, something she realized. And so she did these two things of buying a Mustang. So I got myself a red Mustang convertible. That means you can take the top down. And then she started having massages. So she doesn't have the Mustang anymore, so it's gone. But she still has the same masseuse. The masseuse is the person who gives you your massage. Okay, one equally great way to end the weekend is to volunteer. Nothing will take your mind off of any problems associated with your decent paying and steady job, like serving people who aren't so fortunate. Savvy volunteer coordinators know that it's easier for most people to make Sunday night volunteering a part of their lives than other times. All right, let me make sure we have enough for everybody to read. All right, Russ. Hold on, let me see. Okay, you can read all of this, actually. Okay, you can read all of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
One equally great way to end the weekend is to volunteer. Nothing will take your mind off any problems associated with your decent paying and a steady job like serving people who aren't so fortunate. Savvy volunteer coordinators know that it's easier for most people to make Sunday night volunteering a part of their lives than other times. Jacob Lee runs the Orange County Caliph chapter of the Fellowship of Orthodox Christians United to Serve Focus. Every Sunday night, his volunteers serve a meal restaurant-style to homeless families living in an area motel.
All right, so an equally great way. So, another great way is to volunteer. So to volunteer your time to do something, you're not going to get paid money. It takes your mind off. So here we have the same expression. Nothing will take your mind off any problems associated with, so related to your job. Here, decent paying. So decent meaning you get enough money. It's okay. And it's steady. It means you have work. It's not. You're not going to lose your job. So you have a nice job. You have good pay. It's steady. So you can take your mind off of any problems related to your job by serving people who aren't so fortunate. So people who don't have your fortune, don't have as much money, don't have a good paying job, that kind of thing. Savvy, meaning smart volunteer coordinators know that it's easier for people to make Sunday night volunteering a part of their lives rather than other times during the week. So it's easier to do it on a Sunday night than like a Wednesday night or something like that. So this person, this guy runs, it means he manages, he organizes a chapter of, so a chapter is like a group related to this Christians United, okay? So he has a group, and they serve meals. So that's one of the things they do as volunteers, restaurant style. So homeless families can come in and get a meal at the motel. The motel is like a hotel but smaller. All right, Sunday is generally kind of a dead night, Lee says. On Saturday night, people have things to do. On Sunday, like not much. Miraculously, everyone is free. So you get a much more diverse group of volunteers than the retirees and homemakers who might volunteer during the week. After the volunteers serve the meal, as the evening starts to wind down, everyone sits together telling their life stories and learning about why people end up where they end up, says Lee. It's a way to connect with humanity before everyone goes their separate ways for the week. Okay, Wilmer.
Okay. Sunday is generally kind of dead night, Lee says. On Saturday night, people have things to do. On Sunday, miraculously, everyone is free. So you get a much more diverse group of volunteers than the retirees and homemakers, who might volunteer during the week. After the volunteers serve the meal, as the evening starts to wind down, everyone sits together, telling their life stories and learning about why people end up where they end up, says Lee. It is a way to connect with humanity before everyone goes their separate ways for the week.
Okay, good. Okay, so generally kind of a dead night. So Sunday, a dead night means like not much happening, so not a lot going on. Saturday night, people have things to do. Lots of people go out on Saturday night, but on Sunday, no, not much. Okay, so miraculously, miraculously means like it's a miracle. But, it's not really. It's just that it's Sunday and there's not much going on usually on Sunday. So everyone is free. To be free means you don't have anything you have to do. So you're free to volunteer. So he's saying at the church place there, the motel where they serve the food, they get a much more diverse group. So a lot of different types of people come in to volunteer, not just the retirees, these are retired people, and the homemakers, like the women who stay home to take care of kids and stuff. Those are the typical people who volunteer during the week, but on the weekend, on Sunday, you get different types of people, so more diversity. After they serve the meal, so they give the meal to the homeless people, the evening starts to wind down. So when things start to wind down, it means people relax. Some people might leave. It's just getting not so much is going on. It's not busy anymore. So like in a restaurant, you have a really busy time, and then as people start to leave, everything winds down. So it's the same spelling as wind, but here we say to wind down. So when that happens, everybody just sits together. They tell each other their life stories, and everybody learns about why, you can say why or how, people end up where they end up. So why are some people homeless? How did they get there? That type of thing. And it's a way to connect with humanity. So to connect with, to talk to other people. Humanity means, people to people. Everybody's a human. You don't talk you don't see them as like rich or poor. They're just human, that kind of thing. And then everybody goes their separate ways. So when you go your separate way, it means you go home, you go back to your life, but you've spent this time together. Okay, guys, so we have just a couple of minutes left. Anybody have any questions related to the article, the language, or anything? Or if you want to make a comment, what do you think about doing things on the weekend? Do you feel like the weekend goes too fast for you? What about you, Wilmer? Do you think the weekend goes too fast for you?
Excuse me, teacher, could you repeat, please?
Yeah. Do you feel like the weekend goes too fast for you?
Yeah, the weekend is very fast because it's only 2 days.
Only 2 days, 2 fast days.
Yeah, 2 fast days, and so at Sunday and Saturday. But the years begin at noon.
Yeah.
So the afternoon passes very fast.
Yes.
But it's good.
Yeah. Yeah.
We can only work 3 days. Then we can have 4 days.
Yeah, 4 days off. That would be nice. Okay. What about for you, Laura? What do the weekends go fast for you? And do you have any special things you like to do on the weekend?
Yes, I usually visit my sister and my nephew. So usually when you are doing something that you like, the time flies. That's the point.
Time flies. Yes, it does. It goes by fast. Yeah. But we've talked about this many times. Pretty much you get together with your family on the weekends, don't you? Most weekends? Yeah.
Yes. We are planning something for this weekend because it's Carnival, and well, we were thinking to go to the beach, but probably there are going a lot of people there.
A lot of people will be there, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know yet, but if not, we are going to plan something here.
Cool. Sounds fun. Yeah. Alexi, what about you? Do you plan something for the weekends? Something you like to do?
Yes, exactly. I plan go to a concert with my family.
Oh, okay. Nice. Yeah, great. Wonderful. Okay, everybody, I guess people are dropping out because it's time to go. We used up our time, so thanks everybody for coming, and I'll see you again another time. Have a good weekend and happy Valentine's Day.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.